Emmanuel, I want to start with a really provocative idea I came across. It's this quote that says, "The biggest drug, it's not cocaine, it's fame." That really stopped me in my tracks. What does that spark in you?
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Because it's true. We think of addiction as something you buy in a back alley, but the most potent, most deceptive addictions are the ones you get from a crowd. It's the applause, the validation, that feeling that you are important, that you're at the center of the world. It's a high that nothing else can really match, and it's dangerous because it feels so good. It feels like you've earned it.
Right, the validation is the hook. But fame is something only a tiny fraction of people ever experience. So is that the real battle for most of us? Well, that's the twist, isn't it? While fame is this massive, powerful force, there's a much quieter, more common trap that gets almost everyone. It's not the spotlight. It's the soft, warm blanket of comfort. It's the decision we all face every single day. Are we choosing a life of genuine purpose, or are we settling for the deceptive safety of just being comfortable? That choice, right there, is the whole game.
I love that framing. So, if we were to map out this journey from comfort to purpose, what would the key stages be? How do we break it down?
I think it's a journey in 5 parts. First, you have to identify the enemy. Let's call it the monster of comfort. Then you have to find your wisdom, and often that comes from unexpected places, from imperfection. After that, it's about adopting a new mindset, a real game-changing one, the power of asking, why not? From there, you have to evolve your definition of success, moving from I to we. And finally, you reach a point where you have to find a purpose that lives even beyond the spotlight of your own achievements.
Okay, let's start there then. Chapter 1, The Monster of Comfort. You called it the quietest trap. Why that word quietest?
Because it doesn't announce itself. It doesn't roar. It whispers. It's the slow, creeping sense that things are good enough. You have a decent job, a nice routine, you pay your bills. There's no big crisis, so you don't see the danger. You don't realize you're in the trap until you wake up one day and realize years have gone by, and you haven't really grown, or risked, or truly lived. It just happened, silently.
That's a scary thought. We're all so wired to avoid big, spectacular failures, but you're saying the real danger is the slow, silent decay of our potential.
Exactly. It's the slow leak in the tire, not the big blowout. The enemy of great isn't failure. The enemy of great is good. Good enough is where dreams go to die. Comfort convinces you that the risk of striving for more isn't worth disturbing the fragile piece of what you already have. It's a powerful illusion.
So when you say monster, you're not talking about an external force, are you? This is an inside job.
It's 100% an inside job. This monster is a collection of the worst versions of yourself. It's your ego telling you that you don't need to learn anything new. It's that part of you that holds on to old resentments, that keeps you anchored in the past. And most of all, it's that little voice in your head that, whenever you think about doing something bold or difficult, whispers, "Nah, don't do that. It's hard. You might fail. Let's just stay here where it's safe." It's the part of us that is fundamentally terrified of growth.
So it really comes down to a choice between two very different paths. It's the most fundamental choice we have. On one side, you've got the comfort zone. And look, it's appealing. It's safe, it's easy, it's predictable. You know exactly what you're going to get. But the final destination of that road is always the same: stagnation. On the other side, you've got the purpose path. And let's be honest, that road is rough. It's hard. It's filled with uncertainty and doubt. But it's the only path that leads to real fulfillment, to genuine growth, to becoming the person you were meant to be.
It's easy to talk about this philosophically, but does this come from a personal place for you? Were you always someone who chose the harder path?
Oh, heavens no.
Not at all. As a kid, I was the definition of complacent. A slagger, you might call me. If there was a challenge, I'd find a way around it. If there was an easy way out, I'd take it every single time. I was perfectly happy just getting by. I had to learn, the hard way, that comfort is a default setting. It's gravity. You have to actively, consciously fight against it every single day. It's not natural to seek discomfort.
So how does someone who's naturally complacent, who loves that comfort zone, even begin to make that change? Does it take some perfect mentor or a life-changing book to snap you out of it? That's the interesting thing. We often think we need this perfect role model to show us the way. But for me, and for so many people, the journey out of that comfort zone didn't start with perfection. It started by finding profound wisdom in someone deeply flawed. It started with imperfection.
You're talking about learning from someone's mistakes, not just their successes. Precisely. You know, my own father, he struggled. He had his demons,
and it cast a long shadow over our family for years. And for a long time, that was just a source of pain and resentment for me. But as I got older, I realized it was also a curriculum, an unintentional, painful, but incredibly powerful curriculum for my own life.
So it's not just seeing the mistakes, it's understanding where they lead. That's the key insight. It's one thing to see someone make a bad choice. It's another thing to see the consequences play out over 10, 20 years. My father's life became a roadmap for me, but it was a map showing me all the streets not to turn down. It gave me a clarity that no success story ever could. It wasn't about judging him. It was about observing the cause and effect in the most real way imaginable.
But how do you heal a relationship like that when there's so much painful history? That's where it gets really powerful. I learned that healing doesn't mean you get an apology that magically erases the past. You can't fix what's broken back there. The real healing came years later, when I saw my father putting in the work every single day to be an amazing grandfather of my kids. He was a different man. And in that moment, I realized the past is fixed, but the present is where we prove who we are now. His effort in the present healed the wounds of the past.
Wow. So that clarity, knowing what you don't want for your life, that's what clears the way for figuring out what you do want.
It's the perfect foundation, because once you know the roads to avoid, you're free to explore the ones that remain. And that leads directly to the next crucial step, adopting a mindset that I believe can change everything. It's the simple but profound power of asking, why not? This is the engine of ambition.
The world loves to put people in boxes, doesn't it? You're a doctor, you're a writer, you're an athlete, pick one. Exactly. We're conditioned to believe we have one lane. You find your thing and you stick to it. But that's so limiting. The world is full of possibilities. Why can't I only be one thing? Why can't I be a great father and build a business and learn to paint? Who made that rule? The moment you start looking at those invisible walls and just asking, says who? Why not me? Why not now? Everything changes.
So this why not mindset is really a total reframing of our relationship with failure.
It's a complete rewiring. It's built on a few core beliefs. 1, you are not defined by a single skill or job title. 2, you can't know what you're truly good at until you try a bunch of things you're probably bad at first. And 3, and this is the most important, we think of failing as trying something and messing up. But the biggest failure is not trying at all. That is a guaranteed loss. If you reframe it so that the only consequence of trying something new is a lesson, then you can't lose. Trying becomes a win-win.
I love that. But it also implies that you can't just sit around waiting for inspiration to strike. You have to be proactive. You have to be ready before the opportunity arrives. People wait for the phone to ring to start preparing. That's backward. Are you doing the work when no one is watching? Are you honing the skills for the job you want, not the one you have? It's about building your own door, so that when opportunity comes knocking in the neighborhood, you're not fumbling for the keys. You're ready to walk right through it without a moment's hesitation.
Okay, so you fight the monster of comfort, you learn from imperfection, you adopt the why not mindset, you start building success. But is that the end of the journey? Is individual success the final goal?
Absolutely not. In fact, that's where many people get stuck. They achieve a certain level of personal success and they hit a plateau. They can't figure out why they feel unfulfilled. It's because there's a vital, necessary evolution that has to happen next. You have to go from a mindset of I to a mindset of we.
So there's another monster to battle even after you've slayed the monster of comfort? Oh yes, the I monster. And it's a crafty one because it feeds on your success. It's the part of your ego that needs all the credit. It's the voice that says, I have to do it myself if I want it done right. It's that me-first attitude. I had to learn, and it was a painful lesson, that my own need to be the star was the biggest obstacle to building something truly meaningful, something that would last beyond me. You have to learn to get out of your own way to let other people be great.
It's a fundamental shift in where you get your fulfillment from. It's a total transformation. The I mindset is all about chasing personal trophies, getting your name in the headlines. It's finite. But the we mindset, that's about building a winning team. It's about a shared vision. It's about finding a deeper joy not just in your own success, but in creating the platform for others to succeed alongside you. It's the difference between being a single bright star and building an entire constellation.
That makes so much sense. All these lessons, fighting comfort, learning from flaws, asking why not, shifting from I to we, it feels like a complete philosophy for life. But is there a moment when all of this gets put to the test? A final exam, so to speak? There always is. Life has a way of testing you on everything you think you've learned. And that brings us to the final, and I think the most profound, chapter of this journey. What happens when you have to find a purpose that has nothing to do with your career, your success, or the spotlight at all? The ultimate turning point. This sounds like it comes from a place of real crisis. It does.
I know a man who is at the absolute peak of his career. Relentless schedule, global recognition, constantly moving, constantly achieving. And then in an instant, a horrific accident brought it all to a violent, screeching halt. The constant noise of his life, the emails, the calls, the applause, was suddenly replaced by the deafening silence of a hospital room. And in that silence, he had no choice but to finally listen.
Wow. When everything you've built your identity on is stripped away in an instant, what a terrifying thought. It's the ultimate test. The accident took away his ability to walk, to work, to be the person the world knew him as. And it left him with the most raw, fundamental question a human being can face. When all the external labels and achievements are gone, what is actually left? Who are you then?
What answers came back in that silence? Life-altering ones. He understood in his bones the fragility of life. Not as an idea, but as a reality. He realized that being present with his children was infinitely more valuable than any presents he could ever buy them. He learned the real definition of responsibility wasn't about providing things, but about providing himself. And maybe most importantly, he saw with piercing clarity who was truly in his corner when he had absolutely nothing to offer them in return.
So the whole journey, all the striving and achieving, ultimately leads to the understanding that you'll never be perfect.
That's the beautiful paradox of it all. You push and you fight and you grow, only to arrive at the profound wisdom that this life isn't about winning some game or achieving a flawless state of being. Perfection is a myth. It doesn't exist. The whole point is just to keep showing up, to embrace the messy, imperfect journey, to keep fighting your monsters, knowing you'll never vanquish them completely, and to find the meaning in the struggle itself.
So to bring this home for everyone listening, this isn't about making one giant life-changing leap tomorrow.
Not at all. A life of purpose isn't built in one grand heroic moment. It's built brick by brick, through 1,000 small, almost invisible choices you make every single day. The choice to take the stairs, the choice to make the difficult phone call, the choice to learn from a mistake instead of hiding from it, the choice to lift someone else up. So the only question left for every single one of us is, what's one small choice you can make today to choose purpose over comfort? What's your first brick?